All right, it's time for episode 6, Into the Lion's Den. Empty by Eric Ruggles. It's a short story about a teenage warlock. If you've missed the first 5 episodes, those are on my YouTube channel. Playlist would be the episodes of Empty. You can go to it. Please subscribe. I'm looking to try and get to 1,000 subscribers, so if you do go watch the other episodes, please subscribe to my channel. The last episode we picked up on, or we're going to pick up from, Rayden and Rachel were in the middle of school, okay? Rayden was at Rachel's locker, gives her a little peck on the cheek, and he sees in the distance Jessica and a few other boys, and he realizes that this isn't good. He can't read their minds. They have ways of blocking his mind reading. And basically it was ball caps with metal in it and hair braids for the girls. So he's kind of suspicious about this group. He's pretty sure that this group might be the hunters' relations. All right, relationships to the hunters. They might be related. So he knows that, and this little group, they also know that Rayden is related to Charles, who they're really looking for, and that is Rayden's father. So we're picking up. It's at school, and Rayden is in home ec class. Rayden's patience grew thin while he was trying to prepare crepes in home ec. He was ready to end this. He wanted his family and him to be free from anyone trying to hunt them. He texted his dad the names of the students involved: Jerry Mills, Jessica Smith, Darren Michaels, and Miley Jenkins. That was the group that was standing and looking at and staring at Rayden and Rachel while they were at Rachel's locker. His dad texted back and said he was researching those students and on the computer at the house, and his mother decided to go to work. But Charles was a little worried now and was going to let her know to come home. Since everything just came into fruition, Charles was going to try and find out anything he could on the computer while Rayden's mother was on her way home. They should have a little time before the hunters could get organized and start to come after them. Charles told Rayden to keep the stone safe and that he would find a safe place for his mother and then come get him. The day was creeping by, and third block passed, and they were halfway into fourth block when Rayden received a text from his dad. The text read that he had found out that those 4 students that Rayden mentioned were all orphans adopted by the same person, a man named Creo Henderson, who was very wealthy and came from a wealthy family from Massachusetts. "We are heading to the safe place for your mother now, and then I will be there to get you after school," texted Rayden's dad. Rayden sent a text to his dad and said, "There's a small problem. I have detention after school. It lasts 45 minutes, and it is in the old school building." "Do you want me to skip?" Rayden texted. Charles replied, "I think you need to go." Charles wanted to keep things business as usual to draw a little public attention, but he knew if Rayden went to detention, it may draw them out to come after him. However, his dad didn't want to risk something happening to Rayden. Rayden typed, "No worries, Dad. I can handle the situation." Charles texted Rayden to just go to detention and that he would get to the school and sit outside and make sure nothing happened. There was 20 minutes left in the school day, and it just seemed like forever to Rayden. He did not know what was going to happen, and that made him nervous and anxious. He sat there in math class waiting for the bell to ring. Finally, the bell chimes, and the day is over. Rayden was going to go meet Rachel at her locker and then head over to the old school building for detention. He hoped that his dad was already there waiting on him, because that would make him feel a lot better about the situation. Rayden checked his pocket to make sure the stone was still safe and secure from destruction. As he reached into his pocket, he felt the smooth surface of the stone, and he had a sense of relief for that moment. Now he was off to see Rachel. When Rayden got to Rachel's locker, she was not there. It suddenly hit him that it was possible that they would go after Rachel to get to him and rattle him. Rayden did remember that when he left Rachel earlier that day to go to second block, he saw the suspect group approach her. But Jessica was the only one to initiate a conversation with Rachel. In that conversation, which Rayden didn't know about, but in that conversation, she had told Rachel, Jessica did, that she wanted to hang out after school, possibly go to the mall or something, just to have some fun. So after fourth block, Rachel was coming to her locker as she was running a little late. And before Rachel could get to her locker, Jessica cut her off. Jessica knew that Rachel would go to her locker, of course, but she also thought that Rayden would possibly meet her there and either say something to her or possibly protect her. So when Jessica intercepted Rachel, she asked her if she would go to the bathroom with her. And of course, Rachel said she would, but to make it quick. She wanted to go meet Rayden at her locker. They entered the bathroom in the back hallway, which was by Rachel's fourth block class, and a good distance from the buses or the student parking lot, or even the office. Rachel thought nothing of it because she really didn't know what was going on. When they entered the bathroom, there were two girls in there. One was Miley, and the other was just some goofy freshman. However, the freshman girl left fairly quickly. One, to catch the bus, and two, she was pretty intimidated. The bathroom cleared out, and Molly walked toward the door. Jessica started a conversation about going to the mall to distract Rachel from any of the surroundings. What Rachel did not know was Darren and Jerry were up on the toilets in a squatted position in the stalls, waiting for the signal to come out and shoot Rachel with a tranquilizer gun. The shot would be taken by Darren because he was a great shot. All the practice he had with the JROTC provided him with a lot of experience in handling a gun. Molly stopped at the door and Jessica asked if that was her phone, which Miley purposely left on the sink. The phrase, "Hey, is that your phone?" was the signal for Darren to take the shot. Miley said it was, as she put her weight against the door, and with no hesitation, Jerry and Darren jumped out, and Darren shot at Rachel, and the dart quickly penetrated the skin of Rachel's shoulder. The dart was filled with homemade sleeping serum. She had been hit. Creo, the adopting father, had experience in mixing tranquilizers and putting the serum into darts. Since Creo knew his stuff, the tranquilizer serum acted very fast, and before a scream could get out, Rachel fainted to the floor of the bathroom. Jerry and Darren quickly grabbed Rachel and put her upright on a toilet in a stall and closed the door. Then Miley opened the bathroom door and peeked out slowly as to not be too suspicious and stood across the hall by a locker, acting like she was messing with her phone. She kept watch until the hallways of the school eventually cleared out. Meanwhile, Rayden started texting Rachel to see if she was okay. He was sitting in detention and texting her to make sure that nothing happened to her. But his greatest fear had happened, and the group had gotten to her. She had received 2 of the texts before she got hit with the tranquilizer dart, but did not respond because she was in conversation with Jessica. She was going to respond on her way back to the locker, but she was hit by the dart and knocked out before she could head to her locker and meet Rayden. Text Rayden. So therefore, there was no response to Rayden's text, and she knew that something bad had happened. He knew that something bad had happened. There were 5 minutes left in detention, and Rayden thought to himself that they wanted to get to him and draw him out, that Rachel would be useless to them as bait if she was dead. So he tried to remain calm with that thought in his mind. Then suddenly there was a boom. A loud explosion sound came from the outside. Everyone rushed to the windows to see what the noise was that disturbed the last few minutes of detention. Rayden looked out to see that his dad's car was in flames and saw his dad running into the woods next to the school. He was being chased by a huge mountain of a man, and Rayden thought to himself, that must be Creo. Creo knew what Charles looked like. He saw Charles in his car waiting on Rayden. He tried to surprise Charles and get the jump on him, but Charles was very alert and saw Creo approaching in his rearview mirror. You have to remember, Charles, Rayden's dad, had that power where he could generate energy rays out of his body. So, apparently, Rayden's dad must have aimed the energy power toward Creo, but missed. With the sound of the explosion, everyone's attention was on the burning car, and they did not see Rayden's dad, Charles, and Creo running into the woods. This was the perfect opportunity for Darren and Jerry to carry Rachel out the back hall door and into Jessica's car. Miley rushed to the bathroom door, motioned the boys that it was time to go. Jessica had already gone to get her car 10 minutes ago, so she was parked with the car running right outside the door. Darren and Jerry proceeded to carry Rachel out the door and dumped her into Jessica's car. They all jumped into the car except for Miley, who stayed back. The car left the school, heading for a cabin located in the woods by the school. That cabin was owned by Creo. Meanwhile, the chase after Rayden's dad was on. Into the woods ran Charles and Creo, and Creo was close behind him. Creo eventually caught up to Charles and tackled him, knocking Charles to the ground. "Give me the stone," Creo said, as he pinned Charles to the ground with mere strength alone. "I don't have it, you dumbass," Charles replied, "so I guess you're not killing me today." Creo said, "We will see about that," and knocked Charles out and proceeded to drag him to the cabin in the woods, which was not far away. Basically, Creo now has Charles, Rayden's dad, and Rachel, Rayden's girlfriend, and they're both going to be taken to the cabin. In the next episode, we're going to see about what Rayden will do in order to save these two. Alright? So, Empty, Eric Ruggles, episode 6. Alright? Into the Lion's Den. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm trying to get to 1,000, and hopefully we can make it happen. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed listening.